Do you have to get 8 hours of sleep to get good grades in school? My name is Daniel, and I help high school students get better grades without sacrificing the things that they love to do. And so, if you're someone who has a shitty sleep schedule and you're trying to fix it, but it's just really difficult, you're feeling tired all the time, and sometimes even if you do get good sleep, you still feel like shit for some reason, then this video is for you. Hey, I just want to announce that if anyone is struggling with getting good grades or learning something and they want some help, my email is open. If you want to schedule a meeting with me, it's absolutely free, and I'm just there to help you and give you some tips. This is the best way for me to understand what my audience is looking for, the type of people my audience is, and how I can improve my videos in the future so that they don't have to book actual meetings with me to get what they really want. Now, I'm no scientist, but the general rule is that you need to sleep 7 to 8 hours a day to become a healthy and functioning human being. Now, there's a lot of things that I could say, but I'll tell you my approach, my thoughts, and my story. A couple years back, I was someone who had a shit sleep schedule. I would be basically almost pulling all-nighters every single day. I would stay up till like maybe 2 to 3 to play video games. I was a total degenerate. And at one point, I was getting really, really bad grades. And so I decided, well, fuck, I gotta start sleeping early, And what happened was I decided that, I'm gonna sleep 8 hours a day. No matter what, I don't care when I wake up, I'm gonna sleep 8 hours a day. If I went to sleep at 11, I'm waking up at around 7 in the morning. If I want to sleep at 1 a.m., I'm waking up at 9. And what happened was, even though I was sleeping 8 hours a day now, I still felt like shit. Like whenever I woke up, I just couldn't get the motivation to get out of bed. And when I eventually did kick myself out of the bed, my head was hurting and everything just felt super, super lethargic, to say the least, or slow, dizzy, whatever you want to call it. And so I decided, maybe it's sleeping at the same time that'll work. So I ditched the idea of sleeping 8 hours a day, and I just started sleeping at the same time every single day. But, the same time every single day ended up being 1 o'clock in the morning. So what happened was I still got really shit sleep, and I didn't feel any better either. And it wasn't until a couple months later until I finally decided that maybe it was the combination of the two things combined. And I ended up feeling so much more relaxed, awake, and present, and naturally my grades started going up because I could actually focus in class and I could actually do shit in class instead of sleeping and catching up on sleep. And so my point here is that for me, my sleep, my grades, and my overall mental health got so much better when I decided to sleep at the same time every single day and sleep roughly 7.5 to 8 hours a day. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know this works for me? The thing is, everyone's body is different, and everyone has a different, chemicals or whatever the fuck you want to say in their body that dictate whether or not they need this amount of sleep or whether or not they need to sleep at this time of the day. Right? I know some people, and you probably know some people too, who function great off of 6 hours of sleep, and they can do a lot of things, and they're probably some of the smartest people you know. I also know a lot of people who cannot even get out of bed if they don't get more than 8 hours of sleep, and they are zombies if they don't. I'm one of those people, by the way. But my point here is that everyone's different, and the thing that makes them different is what we call the circadian rhythm. Now, obviously, I don't want to get too, technical with the terms because this channel is not about science. It is about tips to help you get better. And so I'll break it down in a sort of understandable way. So it's basically your body telling you, okay, this is when I'm going to sleep. This is when I'm going to wake up, basically, right? It's like your brain trying to see a pattern in when you sleep and when you wake up so that it can adjust and, assume that this is when your body's going to wake up, this is when your body's going to fall asleep. And for all the geeks saying, oh, it's not about your brain, it's actually about... Shut up, bro. This is just to help people understand. And one of the major reasons why people get terrible sleep and they're always feeling tired is because their circadian rhythms are off. And what I mean by that is people sleep at inconsistent times of the day. For example, someone with a shit sleep schedule might actually be getting 7 to 8 hours a day, which is actually not bad. This is the standard amount that we specified previously. But they're sleeping at super inconsistent times of the day. For example, one day they sleep at 9 p.m. and another day they sleep at like 2 a.m. in the morning. Their sleep schedule becomes so messed up in the sense that when they sleep and when they wake up, it's so different every single day that their body's circadian rhythm can't get used to a single time. And so because of that, their body doesn't know when to wake them up or when it is time for them to fall asleep. So that's why a lot of people have trouble falling asleep, or that's why a lot of people have trouble waking up and feeling awake and alert, even though they got a good amount of sleep, because they don't know, or their body more specifically doesn't know when they're actually supposed to wake up. And in my opinion, this is actually more important than how many hours you get of sleep. Now, don't get me wrong, both are like super, super necessary. But I would say that if you're trying to start getting better sleep and fixing your sleep schedule, fixing your circadian rhythms is the best way to start. The reason why I say that is because if you try to sleep a certain amount of hours per day, it's hard, right? Like I'm sure if you're watching this video, I'm sure that you've tried before and it's hard. And obviously if you're still watching this video and you've done that before, then obviously you didn't stick to it. Otherwise you wouldn't be needing this video. I think if you start by just sleeping the same amount of hours you get every single day, but just at the consistent time, I think you'll see some improvement. And I think this is the stepping stone to getting a very good sleep schedule, because you need to sleep at a consistent time and feel, okay enough to start increasing the amount of hours you sleep before you get into that whole sleep 8 hours a day thing. Because if you just tried sleeping 8 hours a day instantly, and you can try this out too, if you don't get 8 hours of sleep every single day and you just magically suddenly get 8 hours of sleep, the difference is not going to be very, very drastic, and you might actually feel worse. You can go try it for yourself if you want. This is my experience. I'm fairly confident in the effects that you might feel. But if you tried it and you got some other side effects that are different from the things that I just mentioned, let me know. But yeah, I'd say start with your circadian rhythms because they're a lot more. Yeah, I'd say start with your circadian rhythms because think about it like this. If you get 8 hours of sleep every single day, but one day you're sleeping at 9 p.m. and the other day you're sleeping at 2 a.m., you're still gonna feel like shit. And the whole point of sleeping and fixing your sleep schedule is not to feel like shit. So the most important thing is getting that consistency, getting that discipline, and getting a routine that will build the foundation for your new and improved and healthy sleep schedule. And once you've gotten or picked a time that you think you can sleep at every single day and wake up every single day, now you start increasing the amount of sleep you get, maybe by 30 minutes, by an hour. And you'll notice a lot more benefits with doing that versus having shit circadian rhythms and getting a bunch of sleep instantly. Because like I said earlier, it's not about the amount of sleep you get necessarily, it's a combination of the two things combined. And the most important one, or I should say, the one that takes the most effort to improve on is actually the consistency in staying disciplined in sleeping the same time every single day, or roughly the same time, versus just sleeping a good amount of hours at a random time a single day. Because let's be real, anyone can sleep 8 hours if they really wanted to. You could just plan that shit out and you can do it the same day that you thought about it. But the hard part is being able to sleep at the same time every single day, no matter how many hours you get. Because there's always going to be random shit popping up at you, and you're always going to be making excuses, talking about how, there's this exception, there's that exception. No, you have to stay disciplined. And I'm not saying you have to have this military type routine. I sleep in the same time or the same hour range, right? So I sleep around not really hour range. I say it's like 30 minutes. So I sleep between 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And a lot of people in high school might be like, oh, that's way too early. But my point is, you just sleep at the same time and slowly increase the amount of sleep that you get, because that's the way you improve your sleep schedule. And it sounds very basic, which it is, because you got all these other gurus and friggin' scientists saying, oh, you need to measure the specific amount of REM sleep to optimize for bro, it's not that deep, right? The way to get good sleep is sleep at the same time every single day and sleep 7 to 8 hours. That's it. And as long as you're not doing some sort of drugs that keep you up at night, or you're taking some sort of medicine, your brain and your body will naturally feel the effects of good sleep. It's not that difficult, right? And I think a lot of people try to overcomplicate it or make it sound like it's actually a lot more daunting and scary than it actually is. But in reality, it's just two things, 2 steps. Sleep every single day at the same time and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So that's literally all I have to say for this video. That's the whole message. Just do that and you'll feel fine. It's not that deep. And after this video, if you still can't do those 2 things, or you're still struggling with the consistency of doing those 2 things, and you're still looking at other videos about how to improve sleep, what are the best sleep hacks, you've learned nothing. Because this is the most natural and basic way to do it. It's 2 steps. It can't get more simple than this. Fix your circadian rhythm and sleep a decent amount. And like I always say, nothing in this video actually means anything unless you do something about it. So go do something about it.